Hi everyone, so today I'm in my kitchen. This is a new space that we probably haven't seen much of before. Today I have been in the UK 3 years. Woo! Well, actually, I haven't actually been in the UK 3 years today. It was maybe 2 weeks ago that I was in the UK. I moved to the UK, I think, on the 20th of October. I arrived in the UK. I moved from Perth in Australia all the way over to Manchester in England. So by celebrating 3 years in the UK, I thought I would do a Q&A video of my time living here in England. So I went on Instagram and I did an Instagram story, which I've never done before, like talking to the camera, talking to the phone, and asked you guys what sort of questions you have about my experience in the UK, or if you want to move abroad, or you want to move to the UK, or what's it like living in the UK. And to be honest, no one really responded. I got like 3 responses. And I was like, okay, I don't really have that many followers on Instagram, to be honest, so I'm not surprised. I wasn't really expecting that much response. But the good thing was, I do have some great friends that sent in a bunch of questions for me to answer. So we're going to answer those today, and whilst I'm doing this Q&A, I'm actually going to be making a Manchester Tart. Now the reason why I'm making a Manchester Tart is because I live in Manchester in England, so I just thought perfect thing to make, and it makes it a bit more interesting, and you get to see me bake and answer your questions. So I'm going to be using sort of a really simple recipe as well, so it's not going to be any sort of culinary, expertise here, but I mean, this is not a cooking show like I said earlier. It's going to be mainly me answering questions whilst I'm sort of fumbling around with this stuff here. So we're going to preheat the oven. I'm just going to do maybe 2 questions to start off with, and then I'll probably do something to do with this because I need to get on with that. First question is, favourite place to eat in Manchester? I haven't really looked at any of these questions properly, so it's just me on the top of my head, off the top of my head. I've got a few different favourite places. One of my favourite places is Rudy's in town. Rudy's is like a really good pizza place in Manchester, like the best pizza ever. Something that Manchester does really, really well is pizza. Mackie is another really good one. That's like a big market hall in town in Manchester, and it has all different kind of food in there, like pizza. They have really good pizza as well. Chicken dishes, like Asian dishes, steak. They just have really cool things, and they stay the same all the time. They don't change the stalls. It's just a permanent fixture, and it's just really cool. I really would like to do a video there one day as well. And then also probably Bar San Juan, which is a tapas restaurant. Okay, so the reason why we need to do this is to cook the pastry so that when we put the filling in, it won't be like wet and make it all soggy. Once that's finished, then we take the lentils out and then bake it again for another 5 minutes, and then we'll continue. Okay, so next question. My sister sent in a question, how do you work and travel at the same time? Well, I don't travel and work at the exact same time. But I think she means, how do you have a full-time job whilst travelling so often? So I have actually made a whole video on this. So I'll put that in the cards above. But a few things is that I live in the UK. That's one of the reasons why I moved here. We're so close to so many different places in Europe, and it's so cheap. So, I travel often because I can go away for a weekend and only take 1 day annual leave, leave on a Friday, come back Sunday night, and maybe the flights will only be £50 to £100 depending on what you go, even cheaper than that. So I can travel really often because I can take little weekend breaks away really often. I also have a few other tips and tricks that go along with that as well, but that's what you can go and check out in the video. Okay, so I'll go on to the next question. Pet peeve about the UK. And I mean, biggest pet peeve is that it rains and it's cold a lot of the time, and it's probably what a lot of people would say about the UK and maybe up north in Manchester, unfortunately. And today has been a clear example of how miserable it can be. Today it has not stopped raining. It has not stopped raining. Actually, it's not raining now. I think the clocks go back tonight. So one of the things is that it can sometimes be really rainy and miserable and just really dark. I wouldn't say it's like that all the time in winter. You get some really nice days, and it actually doesn't rain as much as I think people make it out to rain. What? It doesn't rain as much as people think. But then again, it's good when it's coming into this time of year, which is, it's the end of October. it's like really autumnal, everything's really pretty, and then when you're going into like November, December, it's real Christmassy and festive, and I love that about the UK, which we don't really have that in Australia. It's just really hot, and you know, we have a Sunday lunch, we have like a Christmas lunch, and that's about it. We don't really do much when it comes to Christmas, but in the UK and colder countries it tends to be more of a festive time as soon as it gets to December. So I think this was about pet peeves, not something I love, and just things like, I wouldn't say it's a pet peeve, but sometimes I miss the variety of like Asian food that you can get in Australia. I just love, like in Perth, you can get so many different versions of Asian food. You can get Vietnamese food, Thai food, there's just such an array of different foods. London probably has all that stuff, because obviously they're very multicultural, but Manchester has a lot of different things, but just not as many Asian things just yet. So I do miss that. But I mean, as a whole, obviously I'm enjoying myself. Ooh, that smells interesting. Now, how the hell probably should have done that. Ow! What am I doing? How am I gonna pull this out? Oh wait, I'm such an idiot. Obviously, I just ripped the pastry. Obviously, remove it like this. Oh no. Alexa, timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. On to the questions. When are you coming home? It's okay if you're not though. So that was my friend Lauren that sent that question in. I'm actually going to be coming home next year around April, March time. I've got a big trip planned. There's a ladybird on the kitchen counter. No, you cannot have my food. Next question is from someone I don't know. What is your best memory in the UK? And honestly, over the 3 years, you couldn't ask me to give you my best memory, because I'm just like, there's way too many and it's been way too long now. And I've had lots of great memories, but they've probably been more so on holiday, and not necessarily in the UK, but obviously I've had tons of great memories in the UK. I don't know, I don't really have any specific ones. I feel like this is a really annoying question, because I'm like, I can't think of stuff on the spot. I love going to the Christmas markets, like I mentioned earlier, and I feel like they're some of my best memories in the UK, because that's something we really just don't experience in Australia. And I just love being able to go with your friends and family, and like I go with Joel and my friends, and we go to the Christmas markets and just like stand around and drink mulled wine and get like festive stuff, and it's just like everyone's all cozy and it's all wintry and magical, and everyone's all in like a good mood, and like everyone likes to go out and like be festive. I feel like those are like my best memories. I feel like these questions aren't really specifically about living in the UK, like aren't general questions. They're a bit more about my personal experiences and about me, I guess. So sorry if you're here for like real like technical questions about the UK, but like I said, I've done lots of videos on that, so make sure you go and check them out. Is this supposed to be like liquidy? Keep stirring until smooth and thick. Thick. It's still really liquidy. How long do I stir this for? Where did you stay the first night you moved to the UK? I stayed with my auntie because she lives in Manchester. So when I first moved over, I came to stay with her. I lived with her for a few months, and then I moved out into a share house, got my own sort of space. And yeah, I originally was meant to go to London, like, you know, the big plan to go to London and do that sort of thing. And then when I told my auntie that I was doing it, she said just come up to Manchester first, get yourself sorted, then go there. But then it just never happened, because once I got a job and got myself settled in Manchester and I made some great friends and stuff, I didn't really feel the need to, and I met Joel and stuff. So, and it was also really great having her, because I feel like it would be a lot harder if I was on my own, honestly. I was quite lucky to obviously have a family member who lived here, because a lot of people move over and they don't know absolutely anyone. And then going along with that, I guess the next question that someone asked is, how did you make friends? And pretty much made friends by the job that I had. So when I moved over, I got a job pretty much straight away, and so the job that I had when I first moved over here was at a recruitment company, so it was kind of like very not salesy, but kind of salesy. So it was full of young people and like outgoing social young people. Like if you someone who works in recruitment, you sort of get what I mean. Like everyone's always up for going out and stuff like that. So it was good because I got to have a bit of a social life pretty much straight away. I made friends straight away. I'm not saying that actually I made close friends straight away, like properly people I could really rely on straight away at that work. Maybe a year or so in, I did actually finally form like proper close relationships with people. Like some of the people, it was really just surface level friendships and maybe only you'd hang out with them at work. But in the end, I've actually got some really great friends working there that actually started after I started. So sometimes it doesn't always work out straight away that you'll get really close friends. My best friends that I have now are the people from that workplace. So work, and then also I joined this app called Bumble, which I'm sure you probably heard of it. It's like a dating app, but you can also change it to friends where you can meet just friends. So I actually met my friend Sophie on there as well, and yeah, that's pretty much the only two things I use. And nowadays I probably would just use like my workplace to find friends. But a really good thing to do, I think, is to take classes and do fun extracurricular activities, I would say. That's another suggestion that I think is really good when you first move over. Like take a class in like painting or ceramics or cooking, or you know, something weekly that you can go to every week and hopefully meet people. What type of camera do you use? I use the Canon EOS M10, I think. It's pretty much just a small version of the big DSLRs, and that's what drew me towards it, because I wanted a proper camera where I could change all settings and like maybe change the lenses on if I wanted to in the future. But then also I hate having the big bulky SLRs. You just feel really like over the top, and I just didn't like it. I never took it anywhere because it was too heavy, it was too bulky, too intimidating. So this was like a nice in-between. What countries have you been to? Oh my god, this is not to do with living in the UK. I just realised I've really gone off on a bit of a away from it. I've been to lots of countries in Europe, Taiwan, Sri Lanka. I'm not going to list them all here. I don't even know why I'm answering this question because it's not to do with living in the UK. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. Where do you get all the money to travel a lot? Like I mentioned before, I've made videos about this, so I'll link them in the cards because I go into a lot more detail about how I afford to do it. I don't have tons of money. I just save up a percentage of my wage and put it towards holidays. A lot of people spend their money on clothes, on makeup, on cars, on gadgets. You know, people have their priorities, and I just put my savings towards travel. And I just have to go without other things. Obviously, I still have a good time whilst I'm living here. I still go out and enjoy myself. I don't want to completely stop myself from doing things because I'm saving for travel. Like, I still want to enjoy my life whilst I'm in the UK. And then also, I just want to say as well, the job that I had in that recruitment company when I've been travelling in the past, I was earning like quite a basic wage, you know, quite a general admin sort of wage. Just so you know, I wasn't earning like really good money. I was earning just the minimum, not minimum, but like, you know, not a high wage at all. This is still not thick. I also got this really weird question that did not make sense. Is country-wise men's are different in their though and even girls' view? Sorry, what? Someone asked me that. Obviously they don't have very good English, but it sounds like they're sort of saying, do women and men have a different view of a certain country maybe? I don't know, but I just thought I'd add that because I just thought it was really hilarious because I was just like, what? Ooh, it's thickening finally. Okay, another question. Have you ever been tempted to move back home? And yes, I've had my moments. Probably when I haven't really been having the greatest time, like I've been feeling a little bit down, I've always been a little bit tempted to maybe move back home. I feel like the pros of living here has always outweighed living back in Australia. As much as obviously I get homesick and I miss my family and friends, I just get through it. Because you obviously, once you're upset over something, you can't always want to be like, go running home. What are your hopes for the next 3 years? I've got no fucking clue. I'm not someone who really properly looks ahead. Like I hate when people say, what's your plans for the next 5 years? I'm like, I don't know, I'll just go with the flow, whatever like path life takes me on. But I have been thinking a little bit more recently about what I want to do with my job and my career. So I think I might do a marketing course, a digital marketing course, maybe next year after I come back from India. That's something that I'm planning to work towards, hopefully. And then also my visa runs out in 2 years because I only have a 5-year visa. So that's something I'll have to be starting to think about and put money towards, because getting a residency here is $2,500. So I have to sort of find the money for that. I'm leaving the custard to cool. The other thing is, it doesn't really have that many instructions. It just said put cling film on the top so skin doesn't form, and then leave for it to cool. Like, surely it would have been better if I put this in like a container and like put it in the fridge, because obviously it's not going to cool very quickly being in a hot pan. But I've already done it now, so I'm just like, maybe we should just leave it. Also, you know how I was saying before, how sometimes it's miserable and it's just constantly raining? Look outside now. Blue skies. Okay guys, it's the next day and the sun is absolutely blasting in today. It's clear skies and I don't really know where to put you because it's so sunny in the kitchen. Okay, this is the best that it's going to be right now. So it's actually the next day because the custard just didn't cool down. The recipe that I've used just gave no details whatsoever. I went to a different recipe and it said to put it in the fridge for 30 minutes and it still wasn't cool. Also, the custard just seems really runny, so I don't really know if this is even going to work. It's meant to be quite set, the custard. I feel like the recipe is just really shit because all the other recipes you don't use custard powder, you properly do it, like you properly make the custard, you put eggs in and like, you know, cream and all that sort of thing, I don't know. So I feel like I shouldn't have used this cheap recipe, but I didn't know this was going to happen. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Also, I feel like I could have done a better job at this. If I didn't have these nails, I probably could have pressed the pastry a bit more into the tin, but you know. So it's so runny, this is not going to work. Such a fail. I feel like I'm going to waste so much jam now because I don't think this is going to work. This is such a fail. Oh my god, I don't want to upload this video. How am I supposed to cover the whole thing? Like, how thick is it supposed to be? Probably should have watched a YouTube video on this, you know. The custard's not just runny, it's just really lumpy. Oh my god, this looks horrible. I mean, look at that. Like, are you supposed to put it in something afterwards to make it set? Because look, you can't eat that. A few of them on top, but I mean, we're not going to eat that, are we? So, I feel like that's a complete fail because there's no way I can cut that and eat it because it's runny. What is this recipe? I think it's just a really shit recipe because I literally followed it exactly how I should have. But it's like runny custard. What? Oh yeah guys, do you want a slice of my Manchester Tart? It actually tastes really nice. But it's just like, you can't eat that. It's like runny. So the cake making was a little bit of a fail, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video because it was mainly about me answering questions and doing a Q&A. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!